a quick intro about n8n. So we are headquartered in Singapore and we have partners across the globe. We help businesses to reduce costs and improve profitability by identifying opportunities for automation using generative AI. Now, coming to our topic of the webinar. So, when people think about Reddit, they often think of memes or rabbit holes or heated discussions. But what they don't realize is Reddit is one of the most valuable untapped platforms for market insights, authentic conversations, and even lead generation. So, one interesting fact about Reddit is that being the largest online forums in the world, it has 1.6 billion monthly visits and more than 100,000 active communities, or what we call in Reddit as subreddits, each focused on a particular topic. From skincare to SaaS, there is a community for everything. What makes Reddit special is the quality of the conversations we have on that platform. People go to Reddit to ask real questions, share their experiences, and also demand honest opinions. So that makes it a goldmine for businesses that are truly looking to understand their audience and engage with them meaningfully. Now, when it comes to Reddit, it is not just simply dropping links or ads, and you'll get banned or ignored for that. So, to succeed on Reddit, you need to show up authentically at the right place at the right time, and that takes a lot of manual effort. So, imagine like tracking hundreds of posts a day across different subreddits, reading them, figuring out what people need, writing helpful comments. It's not that scalable. That's when automation and AI come in. What if you could automatically discover relevant posts in your niche, detect the intent behind those posts, generate a helpful, human sounding response, and post it all in real time? So that's exactly what we have built here, our Reddit agent, Snoozer, powered by n8n and the generative AI. Now, that lets you automate the entire process. Now, I'll walk you through step by step to show how the agent works, and we'll build it right now. Okay. So I'll come to the n8n platform. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible. Yes. So to begin with, we'll be starting off with a manual trigger. We can use any trigger we want. We can have a schedule trigger. When you have it in production, you can have a schedule trigger so that you don't need to come back to n8n to run the workflow every time, the automation every time. You use this just for testing, right? And following that, we have something called the code node. So before we get into what I'll be putting into the code node, now in Reddit, you have different subreddits, right? Like I told. So under these subreddits, you have multiple thousands of posts. Now you want to search for something very specific, then you have to give keywords. If you want to search for people with certain issues in their like in your topic, in your niche, then we have to search according to some keywords. So what I'll be writing here, what I'll be here giving here is a small piece of code that generates different combinations of uh, subreddits and keywords for your niche. Okay, so I'll just quickly get that for you. Just a second. Okay, let's see. So let's take an example of OpenAI and startups as the subreddits, right? So I'll just put it out all here. Okay, let's take startups in OpenAI and let's make the keyword how to make this faster. Just a random keyword. And let's run this. Now, if you'll see, based on the subreddits and keywords I've given, we have two combinations out here. Since I'm just testing it out right now, I'll just work with one combination. For that, if you want to do that during testing, you use something called the limit node. So limit node restricts the number of items that you want to go ahead in an automation workflow, right? So right now I want only one to go ahead, then I will make sure only one goes ahead. If there are multiple like combinations, right, you have to loop through all of them, the whole workflow. You cannot just run all of them at once, then that will just crash your system. So what you do is you use the loop node. You can have your own batch size. You want to loop two at a time, three at a time. I suggest one would be better because we'll get to that as to why one is a better option. Okay. So once we have our loop node in place, the next node that we'll be working on is the main node of our automation today, which is getting the Reddit posts. So let's go with the Reddit this thing, and here I'm searching for posts, so I'll use that. Now if you'll see, I've already connected my Reddit account here, and I'll be using that account only, and I'm searching for posts, which is why my operation will be search and resource will be post, and I'm looking for subreddits. Now, like we talked about here, we got a combination of subreddit and keyword. So for these variables, that is what we'll be giving as input. Here comes subreddit and here comes the keyword. That's all. Simply drag and drop it and you have it here. Now, the number of posts you want to output for this particular combination is your choice. You can have 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, any number you want. I'll just put a random 30. Okay. So now let's execute this. Now, if you'll see, based on this subreddit and this keyword, I have about 30 Reddit posts that have been scraped from Reddit, right? If you will see in more detail, if you want to go, we have subreddit, we have self-text, which is nothing but the content of the post. We have the author full name. So as you know, Reddit is anonymous. You don't have your names right there as usernames. You have random numbers, random combination of numbers and alphabets, correct? So you have different titles, different variables here that come in the output. You have title, clicked, you have downs, upwards and downwards are there in Reddit, like and dislike that we have on other platforms. And yeah, we have upward ratio. We'll be using the ups because ups signify how many people have uh, given a like to the post, correct? So we'll be jotting down that as well in a sheet when we club all these together towards the end. Okay, so now we got our Reddit post. Now I don't want to run this again and again. So what I do, if you don't want the to run it repeatedly, all you have to do is pin this node. So pinning this node will ensure that every run, the same output only will come. You don't need to, if you want to have different outputs, then you can unpin it and run each time, but I don't want to do that. So I'll just pin it right now. Okay. So I have got my Reddit posts. Now I'll be filtering the posts. Now for filtering, I have to just make sure the self text that's there here, it is not empty. Like some cases, it's possible that the post has empty text, right? So just to make sure is not empty, I'm sorry. So we'll just make sure it's not empty, click it properly, right? That is one condition. And our second condition will be about the date. So like I don't want all these posts, like these posts can be 5-6 months old as well, but I don't want that. I want posts only say in the past 1 week or 1 month. If I want to do such filtering, then I have to give it here. I have used a filter node. Okay, you can use a filter node, or I prefer using an if node, much easier to deal with. Let's go with if node. Okay, so we drag and drop this if node and then make sure it's not empty. And then finally for this, okay, so while we write that, here in Reddit, we do not have the date as in a readable format. Yeah, so if you see here the created, this is the date. So it's not something readable. Like you look at that and you cannot tell that which month or which day the post has been posted on Reddit. So for that, to make it understandable to us and to our agent as well, what we do is that we write a small piece of a small syntax here that will help us in understanding this. So I'll show that to you. So we have this here. So now what, if you'll see, this string of numbers that we have here is now converted into something that we can read, we can understand. So this says on June 6th, on 6th at this time, uh, it was posted, right? So now I want to make sure that it was not, it was posted in the past, your wish. We can have maybe 20 days, 30 days, anything. Let's see how many we get. Okay, so for that, you have to give today minus days 20. This syntax means that 20 days prior to today, I am extracting the posts. Okay. If you will see, today is 6th August. So 20 days before that will be July 18th. Just making sure it's extracting those posts. Now let's execute it. And it all falls in the false branch. If you'll see, that means that none of the posts are dated to like 20 days back. Let's make this 60 and see if that works. Okay. Yeah, still nothing. Okay, not empty. Yes, another thing, date and time. I forgot this very crucial thing. Here I have is equal to, which is a very wrong thing to do, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see the past 60 days. So I have to give is after. That's where I was going wrong. So you give is after, and then you execute and just see how it. Yeah, see, now in the true branch I have got 8 posts, meaning 8 posts out of the 30 posts that we scraped and out of Reddit satisfy both these conditions. Okay, so we'll just work with those posts again. I'll just show an example for one post. Again, for that I'll use the limit node. So I use the limit node. I restrict it to one item. Again, you can also have first items or last items, your wish, however you want to, based on your use case and your automation. So I have that one. And now after this, what we'll be doing is we'll be classifying the intent of the post. Now the on Reddit, the post can be an inquiry, like a question. Somebody has some doubts and they want to ask help from the community, or somebody's just sharing the knowledge, or somebody's really frustrated and they want help or their opinion, anything. So we'll be classifying the posts into 4 categories. I have the we'll use an AI agent for that. So yes, let's get this here. AI agent. We have this AI agent that we have here, to which I'll attach my chat model, and my output also will be in a specific format. So I want that also. And my source for prompt is not a chat trigger node, because right now I don't have a chat trigger, but something else. So I will define an expression. So what I'll be using here is that I need the content of the post here, correct? So if you will see, we can grab it from here, and we got it, right? We have the content of the post. If you'll see, somebody says, I'm facing a serious dilemma and would really appreciate some insight from fellow builders or founders. I recently launched my app, etc., etc. So he's asking for an inquiry. So we'll see how we classify this. So just to make the agent understand, I'll just give it a short text. Content of the post, right? We want a specific output format, so we give that. Chat model, we had attach an OpenAI chat model. Choose whatever you want. I'll just leave it at default right now. Uh, or yeah, that's okay. Okay. We can have photo mini also. And for the intent category and content of the post, that will be our output parser. So here you have generate from JSON example or define. It can be anything. So let's say I have, say, uh, intent is one and one is content. Intent of the post, and right. I have this also. Now let's come back to this. In the options, we have something called the system message. Now this is where our elaborate prompt goes in. I have the prompt ready. I'll just show it to you. I'll explain how the prompt works. Okay, so let's grab that, and we have this. Again, I choose an expression here because when you go to fixed, you can't really look at it from the, like, yeah, you can't expand it and have a clearer view. Whereas when you go to expression, you can just click this and expand it and you can see more content. So what I've given it is I've given it a role that you are a Reddit intent classification assistant. Always do that. It's very important so that the agent understands what role it plays, right? Now I have my classification categories. I am being very elaborate. If it's a question or a help, I'm telling it, I'm giving it examples for a complaint or event, for a recommendation request, for a discussion or opinion. For everything, I'm specifying what kind of posts it is going to be like and examples also so it understands, right? So all this I have here. And if the post doesn't clearly fit any category, we choose the closest match, etc., etc., right? So for the post, we don't need this again, but yeah, just in case. So we got the post also. So yeah, so I hope the prompt is clear. We'll be sharing this. You can modify and use it for your use case. If you want to add more or you don't want so many categories, you can even work with that. So now let's run this. It will take a few seconds, but it'll be done. Yes. So now the agent has classified the content of the post as a question or a help, and as well as given the output content also. Okay. So we have this. Now we have the intent clarified. Now, going forward, we will have an AI agent that helps us in generating the comment based on the intent and the content, right? So let's have our AI agent. So we can use OpenAI's node or the AI agent. Let's use OpenAI's node since we don't really have a specific output format or anything like that. Again, I'll use Foro Mini. You can use whatever you want. I am just using it for this particular use case right now. I have Foro Mini here, right? Okay. So, okay, I'll get the prompt. Let's get it here. Yeah. So I have got the prompt also here, and I'll show it to you in detail. So I'm giving it a role again. I'm also telling it what its goal is. And yeah, I'm being very elaborate. We'll share this prompt with you, and then you can just go through how I want the comment to be, how it should be human, it should be concise, it should be clear, and it ties in relevant automation solutions that we offer. So this is it for our use case. So we are doing according to that. And then the special case, if intent is a question or a help, write a more elaborate response. So if it's a question, we want to uh, help them out, right? So we want a comment uh, that answers their query. So that's what we're trying to do here. And then I mark the intent and the content. So now this is the entire prompt that I'll be feeding into the AI agent to generate the comment that we want. Okay. So let's see. Again, I'll pin this node because I don't want it to execute multiple times. So let me run this. Because the execution is pretty large, you have to again execute it from the beginning and not just that specific node. Yeah, we got our comment. So, hey, first off, congrats on your launch and early traction. It's a tough balance, but here's my take. Consider focusing on growth while you iterate. So, it's giving a general help. It's giving you a solution, or we would say an advice, right? So, I have my comment here that I want to post, right? Okay. So following that, what we'll be doing is that okay, so you have an option here. If the content of the post is long most of the time, what you can do is that you have something called the summarization chain here, right? So all you have to do is it will summarize the content for you and store it in a sheet. We'll come to that, so that later on you just have an idea of what the content of the post was, original content. Okay. So for this, we need to add a model. It does not operate on its own. We again use an OpenAI chat model. You can use the others if you want. Right now, I am using the OpenAI chat model. We have Forum Mini here. Yes. And we have attached it. Now we have both these, and we will merge. We have an option called combine also, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, let's combine them. Yes. I'll pin it again. Yeah, I have to execute this. Let's execute this. And yes, we got the summary also. Right. So now we got the summary. Founder, like, it's able to tell us as to what the in short, it tells us what the content of the post is about. So we have that, and then we have this also. We have the uh, comment that we want, right? So we have the summary and we have the comment, but we don't have the intent. So we want to store that in the sheet as well. So in merge, you have an option for uh, just merging the number of inputs. So apart from summarization chain and this, you can also merge this here. And I'll just show you how you can do that. You have an option called combine by position, number of inputs, 3, since my inputs are 3 right now. And then you go back and then you just work on this. That's it. Now, if you will pin this as well, execute your merge node. We'll execute it again. And that's it. If you'll see in the output, I have everything that I need about this particular post. I have my summary, I have my intent, I have my content, and I also have my comment that I want to post. They kind of rhyme together, but yeah, I hope you get what I mean. So we have all these, right? Now, when we get to the Reddit node, this is kind of tricky. So the Reddit node, when you post on Reddit, there's one thing that you have to remember totally. In Reddit, you have something for every username. You have something called comment karma and post karma. So when you are new to Reddit and you have a new account, you have 0 comment karma, I think, and 1 post karma. So you have to make sure that you build it up manually first. So what you can do is, now the node that I'll be showing you, you can remove that, you can deactivate that node for now, and you can just manually get all your data in a sheet and post for some time. And once you gather enough karma, comment karma, then you can automate this and then it will run on autopilot, right? So now let's get to this. We will use a HTTP request node, not the Reddit's node, just to avoid any auth issues. Sorry. And we use the post operation. Then we use this URL. Okay. And for authentication, I have preferred credential type because I have already have my Reddit auth connected. This is mine, and then we have that, and then now in our body we'll have 3 parameters that we'll send ahead. I'll show you that as well. The content type, now this is fixed. This is how Reddit reads the data. Yeah, normally use JSON, but like this is how Reddit reads, so that's what we'll be giving. And then using the fields below, our first variable name. And you have to remember, these variable names are not optional. You cannot choose whatever you want. You have to follow these fixed variable names so that even Reddit understands, right? So API type JSON, that's kind of fixed. That's what you'll be giving in. Then we have another variable name that says thing ID. So thing ID is nothing but the, if you remember, let's go back here. If you remember here, I have something called name, which is nothing but username. So the thing ID is nothing but the username. So I'll just drag and drop that. That's my username where I want to post. Basically, the person posted, right? That's their username. You want to post for their content. And then finally, another variable is text. So this is the comment that you want to post. Let's see. Yeah, this is my comment. Okay, so right now it is like this, but you can just modify that and just make sure that this comment doesn't appear. You can change the output structure and yeah, you can just make sure it doesn't come like that, right? Okay. So now that we have this, all you have to do is execute this. But right now, since I do not have enough comment karma and post karma accumulated, I will not be able to post this. But we'll share this with you. So, like I said, first you accumulate that, and once you have enough karma, you can just automate this part as well. Till then, you can have everything in sheet and all your details as well. So let's deactivate this. You can deactivate it. You don't need to delete it and then come back and post it again. Now what I'll be doing is append row, right? All this data I'll be appending into my n8n Reddit agent. Now let's look at that. Okay, so yeah, this is an earlier one that I had, but if you'll see, I hope the sheet is visible. Right. Yes. Okay. So here I have post ID, I have post title, subreddit, post date, upvotes, intent, summary, comment, timestamp. So all this data you can store in your sheet. You can get all that data. You have the post data, you have the intent, you have the summary, you have the comment, everything. You can post all that here so that it's clearer for you to understand when you go and post on Reddit. Correct. So you come back to this. Yeah. We have our sheet, we select the sheet that we want, n8n Reddit agent. We select sheet 1, map each column, and then you just fill out all these details. If you want, we can. For right now, what I'll do is I'll remove this and then I'll bring it here. Yeah. I'll just show an example. So we have text here, which goes into summary. You can change the variables so that you'll understand, or else since it's automated, you don't need to worry about how it's defined, the variables. We have the intent, drag and drop, and you have the content of the post. You don't need to really have the content, I guess. Yeah, that's too much space. And then you have the comment, you can store. And if you want the timestamp, all you have to do is select expression here and do this. We have now the current time will get noted there. And all this also, you can get all that data when we talked about each post, right? You can get all the data from there. You have subreddit and you have the title here. Yeah, drag and drop. Post ID, you can have the variable name, right? And post date and then upvotes, ups. Yes. Post date is basically that syntax that I talked about before. That is the post date. Uh, right now, I'll just drag and drop this. You just can format it however you want. And let's execute this again, since the data is too large and we are done executing. Yes, now share this tab instead. Right, you have all this data here. So that's pretty much how the agent is going to work. Now let's come back. Or now if you want to run it in loop, like I showed, it's a loop here that we have. I've gone to back. All you have to do is drag and then connect it here. So now it's connected into a loop. Right now, if it feels very messy to you, there is an option here that tidies up the workflow when it's too complicated. You click that and it's much more beautiful to look at, right? So now this is the Reddit agent that does your work. Now, apart from commenting, it is also a great place to interact. Like I said, it's great place for businesses to get opportunities. So the same workflow you can use. If you don't want to post a comment, you can always change the prompt. This is just a tip. You can always change the prompt and maybe, classify the people based on how important they are to approach as leads. So if you don't want to comment it, you have all this data here already. All you have to do is go to that particular post, interact with them, and then yeah, you can increase your reach by that. So this is how you can market yourself on Reddit. Yes. If anybody has any questions to ask, please go ahead. If not, I'll just end it with a short info that I had to share. Yeah. So we have an upcoming webinar next week on AI powered appointment scheduling assistant. So if you like this webinar, then please do register for the next one as well. Thank you.